Previously on building Benji's movie park.
Okay, you can kind of see the shape emerging. Look how perfectly this fits. This is really just making the same thing on both sides. And for this part on top, it's really just the same kind of stuff again. Paint this the correct color for now, and then here it goes back to the normal path. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this brand new episode of Building Benji's Movie Park 2. Today, I am so happy you joined us today because we're gonna do some crazy stuff. In the previous episode, we made this base for the Nostromo, which is the spaceship from Alien, and today we're gonna finish it, or at least start finishing it. As you can see, there's a lot to do. The original Nostromo has a bunch of details, and so we're gonna get as close as possible. So let's get into it. The whole backside is now the most boring, so let's do something about it. First of all, the engines. Essentially, the actual engine bit is missing, so let's get into that. For your info, this is the photo I'm using as a reference for the backside, and as you can see there, we have this grill type of texture, which I can very easily do just like this. And also, I'm first gonna do this engine and then copy everything to the other one later on, but I'm not gonna show that because that's boring as hell. Then we need a giant tube, cylinder kind of thing, right here for the main engine, and then two of these edges on there as well, I suppose. I have this feeling that this is going to be one of these videos with a bunch of edges and repeated details, most of all. To make this appear hollow though, we should probably go with this once again. Just a bunch of these bricks all around to make sure there's this hollow kind of effect. Pretty good. There are also some of these flaps on top of this, which are the lighter color again. Not that this is the final color, but it is a lighter color. I'm really just gonna try and make sure every single bit of detail is in place. I mean, to a certain extent, of course. Then let's make the connection points. Just like this, I'm just gonna go over the entire thing, really. Oh, that is looking nice already. I like it. Now, am I taking this too far? 100%. Yes. But my pain is your pleasure, so I'll just carry on. The absolutely wonderful thing about this, however, is I can simply rotate it around the axes of this actual engine, which means I can just add some of these details and then copy them around. Literally. Imagine trying to do this without all these tools back in the day when we didn't have those. I mean, that would have just been absolutely ridiculous. However, what I did just realize, I should probably first paint stuff before copying everything, because otherwise I have to actually manually paint everything, which I don't feel like doing at all. Now, since the landscape itself is gonna have a bit of a blue tint, I think maybe we should have that same blue tint in the ship. If it's just gray, it just looks dead. It looks devoid of any sort of anything. Let's paint a bunch of this ship and see what that looks like when it's all done. That's a bit much, maybe. Maybe just like this instead, where it's just the tiniest shade of blue in there. And actually, I haven't even thought about the material. What material is this gonna be at all? I mean, obviously there's going to be a ton of details, but still it shouldn't be too clean. This feels too clean. And this is asphalt. This already has some detail to it. Imagine if we did like metal, which is actually smooth. See, this just looks weird. It's too clean, too smooth. I actually don't think concrete was that bad of an idea. This seems the best. Well, then I guess let's paint the entire thing into this brand new color, and I'll be right back with you. I can't explain why, but for some reason I feel like I'm overdoing this. Maybe, just maybe. I have this stomach feeling, you know what I mean? Is it gonna stop me, however? No. To be honest, I kind of miss doing this, recreating stuff one-to-one. It's kind of fun, and I don't even know why. Look at this. Wait a minute. Look at this engine, dude. Oh my god. Dude, that's actually so good, and so close as well. I mean, my flaps are a bit further open, but I mean, that's a thing it can do anyway. This is great. I'm so excited. It's really great up until the point you realize you have to do this all over the bloody ship. I'm gonna copy this engine to the other side, so I guess you'll see me in one sec. Okay, that's the two main engines. Then I suppose we have another one in the center, which is basically the same. So I guess let's just move this in the middle then. It just doesn't seem to have all the extra stuff around it, so that's good actually. It's definitely gonna save us some work. This is so satisfying. Just making a full circle using tiny pieces. I have a feeling that the data limit is not going to like this at all. But once again, is that going to stop me? No. Then of course there are some smaller engines as well. I have no idea what those are for, but I guess we'll just add those as well. There are once again a bunch of these cylinders inside, it seems, which kind of makes sense for engines. Let's add those kind of grill details on there as well. Really, it's all the same. Once again, as I always keep saying. And then once again, boys, we have to copy this to the other side. What fun. Such variety. again. I, however, will make short work of this. Don't worry.
2,000 years later.
I also instantly put the ones on top here, which are just a bit different, but also kind of similar anyway. So those are all done now. Then we just have to kind of fill up these empty areas with a bunch of detail, bunch of... yeah, greebling, I suppose is the best word for it. Maybe for this we can use some ladders. Those kind of give nice grill details, I guess. Oh, I just trapped myself. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. All this stuff in here is the only area I don't have great reference images for, so I'm gonna have to just do some random stuff. This is definitely starting to look like something here. I am kind of thirsty though, so maybe I should get a drink. I also have a bell pepper. Oh, it's green, of course. Well, you just have to believe me that there is a bell pepper here. I mean, the green ones are the least nice, but oh well. I guess it's fine either way. This looks weird. It makes me transparent. Anyway, moving on. This is looking pretty nice so far. Just a bunch of random stuff to add some detail in the back. Honestly, this is the back, which is kind of sad because you won't really see this all that often. But I guess it's a fun detail. So now that the back side is kind of looking nice, we have to start working on all the rest because there's a lot of... oh, there's so much. But I actually have an idea that may just help a lot. Let me just test something out here. Greebling 1. Let's see what happens. Now look at that. This may not be the perfect image, but something like... you can see where I'm going with this. We can add detail using textures and just loading them in. That's so much easier. And most of all, we'll save a bunch of space as well. I'm not sure actually. It looks a bit weird somehow. I guess we should first just see how it goes if we, you know, add some actual details on this. I mostly just want to know whether or not it's doable. It's definitely going to be a lot of work, but how much work is the question. I'm building this from this reference photo once again, just so you know. There's a bunch of these pipes on top I can already see. And honestly, it's just a bunch of random tiny small blocks. Not entirely sure what they're supposed to be, but let's just make them. I'm not going to put them exactly on the same spots, but just sort of, kind of, a little bit. It's kind of boring though, isn't it? Just putting a bunch of these little bricks on top of a flat area. To be fair, it does look kind of good. It does look kind of similar as well. And this doesn't actually take too much time. It's just very boring and very basic. Now, as you may well understand, I'm not gonna do this all on screen. Boring. Instead, I will first focus on the bigger parts, like this top area and the cockpit and the insides of the front engine kind of things. Because otherwise, it's gonna be I mean, it's already quite boring in my opinion, but a terrible video. I know this makes no sense, but for some reason, it's also kind of satisfying to put these on here. It looks quite good. Better than I expected at first, because it's really basic stuff. For now, though, let's first make the inside of this exhaust kind of thing. I suppose we could begin using some of these for the basic grill behind the actual larger bars. Just quite simple, like this. Sadly, because of how different the angle is on mine, I really can't get the exact same effect at all. I'm gonna do the same kind of pattern. It's just gonna be tilted straight, I guess. Okay, so it's really not the same thing, but it does resemble the style, and that's also important. And then the same thing I did there, I have to do over here in this lower one, and then the same thing in the one in the back there, and everything on the other side. But once again, let's put all the grills in place here. Well, that is looking pretty good. It's a bit dark in there, but it is properly detailed. So then now let's see what's next. Off screen, I'm gonna do this entire engine on the other side as well. For now, let's work on this top area for a little bit, starting with this center cylinder kind of thingy. Then let's make a perfect little circle around that. There you go. And as expected, I'm simply gonna recreate all the details I see on the reference photo. This one I'm using for this. All this stuff looks just so nice. I don't know why. Then some more tubes. I'm gonna go over it pretty quickly now. Then here on the front, there's a tiny little dish type element. So let's go and add that as well. We have to be thorough. There you go. That looks pretty sweet. And the inside of these engines, exhausts, what are they? I'm confused. There you go. That looks pretty nice already. There are so many grill type pieces in this ship. It's ridiculous. Anyway, these seem to be the biggest parts on the top area. Then now let's add the tiny blocks once again for some texturing. And this can of course be very random once again. That's, I suppose, the nice thing about it. You don't have to worry at all about, you know, the whole configuration. It's all completely random. Just some more really flat plates on here as well, just like so. First, let's focus on the bigger details. the cockpit, for example. On the front, there are these circular kind of turret thingies, like a dish and a gun, I think. That's a gun. So for now, let's go and create these holes first. And right after, the dish itself. Shouldn't be anything too difficult, I think. Here you go. Let's give it a bit of an angle there, and then that is a lovely dish. No, you're kidding. I can't put that last one in? I just deleted a tiny detail behind it so it fits. So we're good. And then for this gun kind of thing, let's just make like a minigun sort of effect. It does seem to have just a regular kind of barrel like that. Is not so bad. Looks pretty good. So guys, I think you have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to finish this ship now. I'm going to focus, make sure it gets done. And in just a sec, I'll be back here and show you everything I've done in grave detail. So I'll see you in just a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, behind me is a completely finished ship. It is insane. I'm super happy with it. It looks fantastic to me. But I'm gonna show you in the next episode. I'm that kind of YouTuber now. I'm sorry. Oh, sneak peek. Oh, ooh. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single video, and then I hope I'll see you in the next one.